the invisible war beyond the eyes of the world. There are truths so ancient, so raw, so violently transformative that the human psyche is not built to hold them until it is broken first. The world you see around you, the smiles, the systems, the lights, is a veil. A beautifully constructed illusion built to keep most people asleep. But you, if you're still here, it means something inside you has already cracked. You've seen behind the curtain. You felt that strange emptiness that no success, no love, no religion could fill. That's your initiation. That's the first whisper of the dark reality calling your soul home.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
And it's not darkness in the way people fear. It's not evil. It's not chaos. It's ancient. It's primal. It's the part of the universe that holds what no light can illuminate, the hidden codes, the forgotten laws, the soul contracts written in silence. Only the dark chosen ones are given the keys to that realm, not because they're better, but because they were willing to lose everything to remember what they are. And that's the first secret. Suffering is not a punishment, it's a spiritual filter. It separates those who chase comfort from those who are willing to burn for truth. You were broken on purpose. You were betrayed on purpose. Every heartbreak, every exile, every moment you felt invisible, it was the sculpting of your soul. The matrix doesn't break you because you're weak. It breaks you because it can't hold you. And once you see that, you begin to notice the second secret. This world is not real in the way you think it is. It's a stage, a simulation, a test. And most people are non-player characters in your story. They loop, they react, they repeat. But you glitch the system. Your very presence disrupts the frequency. That's why you've always felt out of place. You were never meant to fit. You were meant to awaken. But awakening doesn't look like peace at first. It looks like madness. It looks like losing everything. It looks like standing in the ruins of your identity wondering, who am I now? That's the third secret. Before you become who you are meant to be, you must become nothing at all. The ego must die. The roles must dissolve. And in the silence after the death, something ancient stirs. Not a thought, not a belief, a knowing, a force. A presence that has always been there, waiting beneath the noise. That's your true self. The one beyond names, beyond wounds, beyond this lifetime. Once you touch that self, your perception splits. You begin seeing two realities: what the world shows and what it hides. Someone smiles at you, but you feel their envy. A friend congratulates you, but you sense the dagger in their thoughts. You walk into a room and feel the density of energy like walking through fog. That's the fourth secret. The dark chosen ones don't just see people. They see the energies wearing the people like masks. You begin to see the entities, the spirits, the contracts. And it's terrifying at first, because now nothing can lie to you. But that's also where your power begins, because now you stop reacting to the surface. You stop wasting energy proving yourself, explaining yourself, defending your truth. You realize the game isn't played out here, it's played inside, in your thoughts, your frequency, your decisions. That's the fifth secret. You are not here to fight the world. You are here to master your vibration so fully that the world must rearrange itself around you. Everything is frequency. Everything is resonance. And when your vibration is sovereign, aligned, and clean, you begin bending reality without even trying. But this mastery comes with a cost. You lose people. You lose comfort. You lose the ability to pretend. And that's where the sixth secret emerges. Loneliness is not a symptom of failure. It is the signature of elevation. You are being separated for refinement. Not rejection, refinement. You are being pulled out of the collective dream to deepen your signal. Because when the time comes, you won't just awaken for yourself. You'll become the lighthouse for others still trapped in the fog. But you cannot guide others if you're still addicted to being seen, loved, or followed. So I ask you something now, not casually but soul to soul. What are you still clinging to that's keeping you from becoming who you were sent here to be? What identity still comforts you? What person still validates you? What fear still protects you from full expansion? If you're brave enough to answer that, you're already halfway through the fire. And that brings us to the seventh and most guarded secret, something I only share now because you've come this far. You are not alone. There are others like you, but you will not find them until you become who you truly are. Your tribe, your soul circle, your true mirrors exist beyond the veil of your current self. They are not found through searching. They are summoned through embodiment. And when you no longer need to be found, they appear. This is not a motivational speech. This is a soul transmission. If you're feeling chills, tears, fire in your chest, it's because your soul recognizes this truth. You didn't choose this path. It chose you. And now it's time. Time to stop running. Time to stop hiding. Time to stop pretending you're normal. You never were. You were always meant to see what others refuse to see. Now the question is, will you own it? When the spirit world starts testing you in plain sight. When you finally start embodying who you really are, when you stop chasing the light and start standing in your shadow, the world doesn't clap. It doesn't celebrate you. It doesn't send angels to hold your hand. What actually happens is far more intense. The invisible war begins. Not outside of you, but inside. A war between your old self and your emerging self. Between illusion and truth. Between fear and knowing. This war is not metaphorical. It's energetic. And it starts the moment you stop being who the world programmed you to be. That's the battlefield of the dark chosen ones. And the first thing you lose is your comfort. You begin to notice strange patterns. People you trusted turn on you without warning. Opportunities fall through at the last second. Electronics glitch around you. Your body goes through strange symptoms. You feel drained for no reason, or suddenly charged with energy at 3 a.m. This isn't coincidence. This is the second layer of the dark reality. Once you start waking up, you become visible to forces that were ignoring you before. You become a beacon. And the higher your frequency rises, the more attention you attract, not just from light beings, but from everything in between. You'll start to feel watched when no one is around. You'll have dreams that feel more real than waking life. You'll hear whispers in the silence. And no, you're not going crazy. You're just tuning into a reality that was always there, but now you're finally vibrating at the level to perceive it. That's when the tests begin. Not from God, not from some punishing force, but from the unseen intelligence of the spiritual realm asking, are you ready to walk in your truth, even when no one believes you? Most people break here. They turn back. They label it as paranoia, psychosis, burnout. But the dark chosen ones? We lean in. We face the shadows directly. We sit with the discomfort. We ask, what are you trying to show me? Because the spiritual world doesn't test you to destroy you, it tests you to reveal you. And every strange event, every betrayal, every energetic attack is a mirror. A mirror showing you where you're still reactive, where you're still unhealed, where you're still giving your power away. This is why the path gets darker before it gets lighter. You are not being punished, you are being purified. You are being stripped of every illusion. And that includes the illusions about yourself. You thought you were spiritual? Wait until your intuition tells you to cut off the people who raised you. You thought you were strong? Wait until your guides go silent for weeks and you have to walk blind. You thought you were awake. Wait until you see the energetic parasites attached to your own trauma. This is the fire. This is the forge. This is where the ego dies and the soul takes the wheel. And this isn't something you read in books or post in captions. This is something you live. That's why true dark chosen ones are silent warriors. We don't need to prove anything. We don't need validation. We move in the unseen. We speak in frequencies. We walk into a room and shift the energy without saying a word, but only because we've been through the crucible. We've learned how to protect our energy, how to read the codes behind people's words, how to feel when something is off, even if it looks perfect on the surface. This is the invisible war. And it's not about good versus evil. It's about truth versus illusion, awareness versus programming, presence versus distraction. And the battlefield is your attention, your thoughts, your breath. Every time you choose presence over panic, sovereignty over survival, you win a battle. Every time you say no when your old self would have said yes, just to be liked, you reclaim territory. And slowly you begin to build your kingdom. Not in this world, but in the unseen. A vibrational throne that no one can take from you. But you must protect it. Because once you start building your energy field, others will feel it. Some will be drawn to it. Others will try to drain it. That's when energetic boundaries become your armor. You learn to say no without guilt. You learn to walk away without explanation. You learn to follow your intuition even when it makes no logical sense. Because in the dark reality, the true reality, your intuition, is the most advanced technology you have. It's your compass, your shield, your sword. And when you follow it, you are never lost. You begin to see how the spiritual world communicates with you. Through symbols, through numbers, through sudden insights, through people entering and leaving your life at exact moments. Every interaction becomes a message. Every challenge becomes a test. Every silence becomes a download. And that's when you realize something mind-blowing. You are not just being watched, you are being guided, trained, and prepared. Prepared for what? That's the question most people don't ask. They want peace. They want answers. But the dark chosen ones? We want clarity. We want to know what we're being made into. Because if we're going through this much fire, if we're losing this much, if we're being stripped to our core, then it must mean something powerful is coming. Something big, something cosmic. And we'd better be ready. So I ask you, what are you being trained for right now? What pain are you being asked to transmute? What pattern are you being forced to break? What part of you is dying so that your true self can finally take the throne? Because this is not random. This is not chaotic. This is sacred order disguised as destruction. And when you start seeing that, when you stop fighting the test and start dancing with it, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what am I being called to embody through this? And in that moment, you shift timelines. You stop being a victim of the invisible war. You become a general in it. A commander of light cloaked in darkness. A guardian of the unseen. Becoming the shadow that teaches the world to see. There's a point in your journey where you realize something shocking. You're no longer just surviving the darkness, you've become it. Not in a destructive way, not in a villain arc, but in the most sacred, powerful divine sense. You've become the shadow that no longer hides, the shadow that no longer seeks the light to be validated, the shadow that has mastered itself so deeply, it now guides others through the very darkness they fear. This is the truth few will ever understand. The highest form of light does not shine, it absorbs, transmutes, and reveals. And that's what you've become. You've stopped needing to be saved. You've stopped asking for signs. You've stopped waiting for someone to tell you you're on the right path. Because now you are the path. You move through the world differently. You don't chase, you attract. You don't explain, you embody. You don't react, you observe. And this is what makes you dangerous, not to others, but to the illusions they still cling to. You've become the mirror that reflects truth. And most people aren't ready to see themselves that clearly. But here's the next level secret, and it's one that only the most advanced dark chosen ones will ever integrate. You were never meant to destroy the system. You were meant to remember how to walk through it untouched. Because the matrix isn't just external, it's internal. It's in your thoughts, your habits, your emotional reactivity. And once you've cleared those patterns, the external system loses all power over you. You don't need to fight it. You simply don't feed it. You no longer live in resistance. You live in remembrance. And in that remembrance, everything becomes symbolic. You see the people around you as archetypes. You see the events of your life as initiations. You see pain as purification. You stop asking, "Why is this happening?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me about who I truly am?" You don't just wake up, you become awake. Awake in your silence. Awake in your solitude. Awake in your suffering. And this awakens others not because you preach, but because your presence becomes a transmission. You start to notice people look at you differently. They can't explain it, but they feel something when you enter the room. Like time slows, like something sacred just walked in. Some people are drawn to you, others are repelled. But all of them are affected because you've stopped being a personality. You've become a frequency, and that frequency is not light or dark, it's truth. Pure, unfiltered, unflinching truth. And truth doesn't need to be loud to be heard. It speaks in silence, in stillness, in sovereignty. That's when you realize something even deeper. You're not here to convince the world of anything, you're here to remind it of what it has forgotten. And you do that not by teaching, not by debating, but by becoming the living embodiment of the unseen. You become the shadow that teaches the world to see, not through words, through presence, through integrity, through embodiment. You become the walking paradox, calm and fierce, silent and thunderous, invisible and unforgettable. But don't mistake this for ease. This level has its own weight. The more you embody your truth, the more you are tested, not by others, by the universe itself. You'll be placed in situations that demand you to choose between your past self and your highest self. You'll be tempted to go back to comfort, to be liked, to be understood. But every time you choose alignment over approval, your energy sharpens, your aura expands, your impact deepens, and you become a force that cannot be ignored even by those who pretend not to notice. This is where you must be careful, because now people will start projecting onto you. They'll try to make you their guru, their enemy, their savior, their villain. But none of it is about you. It's about what you reflect back to them. You become their mirror, and mirrors don't lie. So you have to be disciplined, not just spiritually, but emotionally. You have to stay rooted, centered, grounded in your own knowing. Because now your stillness is your protection, and your power is your silence. Do you understand how rare that is? To be able to walk through this world fully awake, fully aware, fully aligned, and still choose compassion. Still choose presence? Still choose to hold space for others, even when they misunderstand you? That's what makes you divine. Not your knowledge, not your gifts, not your titles, your being, your refusal to abandon yourself, even when everyone else walks away. That's what makes you a true shadow master. And here's the wildest part. Once you reach this point, the universe starts bending in your favor. Not because you're lucky, but because reality always bends to sovereignty. You begin to manifest without effort. You begin to attract without trying. You begin to move through timelines like water, flowing into the highest possible reality with grace. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. You became the vibration of your vision, and the world has no choice but to match it. So I ask you now, not as guru to student, not as speaker to listener, but soul to soul, what are you ready to become if you stop fearing your own power? What version of you is waiting in the shadows, begging not to be fixed, but to be remembered? Because that's the final gate. The one you walk through alone, the one where no one claps, no one sees, no one validates you, but you emerge different, not better, truer, deeper, clearer. You emerge not as someone new, but as someone ancient finally returned. And when you do, you stop needing to explain any of this. You stop needing to argue about light and dark. You stop needing to prove your path, because you are the path. You are the living mystery. In the paradox, the question and the answer, the shadow and the light, the death and the rebirth. You are the secret the world was never ready for. And now you're no longer hiding,